The Premier League is back with match week 32. And we've also got the FA Cup of the quarter-finals to do. Yo guys, what is up? It's Premier League Official here. And today we're continuing the series on my channel, Preview and Prediction. Enjoy. Also, my Burnley video will be out soon for the shirt, so keep tuned. Right, these are my predictions from last week. As you can see, there's probably a few that I got around right. There's probably a few absolute stinkers in there. So yeah. And at least this is what I predicted the table to look like. Sorry, this is not what the table actually looks like. As you can see, there's some shocks in there, like Arsenal sitting in 12th, Everton moving up to 10th, and the gap between Leicester and Chelsea is quite a vast one. These are how the results actually went. As you can see, there's probably a few that I got in the round right, maybe. There's probably also a few absolute stinkers in there. If you keep looking up, I think it was probably around here where it all started to go wrong. So yeah. And this is what the table actually looks like. The main difference here is where Everton and Arsenal are. Their positions have pretty much changed, apart from the fact that Everton are in 10th and Arsenal are in... Not Everton 10th, sorry. I predict Everton for 10th, they're actually 12th. But Arsenal to be 12th, they're actually 9th. So yeah, and the gap between Chelsea and Leicester is now only a single point, as is hotting up near the top of the table, apart from the very top where Liverpool are now champions. I got 5 correct outcomes, but no exact results this week. Right, game 1, it's Aston Villa versus Wolves. Now, Aston Villa did quite well to get a point against Newcastle. However, their play was far from convincing. And I feel like they really need to up their game if they're going to get anything against a very, very, very good Wolves side. If this wasn't in lockdown, I feel like Villa would have a chance in this game with the home advantage. But that has pretty much been obliterated this season. And I feel like they could get beaten quite well here. As for Wolves, they weren't exactly convincing themselves against Bournemouth. They got the job done with a 1-0 win. And I feel like they were very professional in it. They've been very good in their opening games. Now, I'll probably continue here against a very poor Aston Villa side. Plus, I think they'll probably be motivated to try and dent their local rivals' relegation hopes. They don't want them surviving, so I feel like they will get a result here. That's what I'm saying. Aston Villa 1, Wolves 2. Next up, we have Watford versus Southampton. Watford were not very good against Burnley. It was a massive missed opportunity in order to get some points, but nope, they lost 1-0. And how crucial will that be come the end of the season in terms of the relegation places? We shall see. As of Southampton, I found out they're actually a lot better away from home than they are at home. That's probably explains partly why they lost 2-0 at home to Arsenal. I feel like they'll turn that around against Watford. And that's what I'm saying, Watford 0, Southampton 2. Next game is Crystal Palace versus Burnley. Zaha looks like he may be having quite a lengthy injury. I'm not 100% sure how bad it is, but I'm pretty confident that he'll be out of this game anyway. But in fairness, he hasn't carried the team as much as he normally does. And I feel like his teammates around him could try and get a result here against a pretty average Burnley side. As for Burnley, they don't really have too much to play for. They're safe. They're mid-table. Let's face it, they're not going to get into Europe again. And I feel like they may not win too many more, considering the bust-up between Sean Dyche and Mike Garlick, their owner or chairman. And for that reason, I'm Crystal Palace 1 and Burnley 1. Next, we've got Brighton versus Man United. And I've been really impressed with Brighton since lockdown has ended. I feel like they've done very well. They've gone on a really good run of form, winning a lot of games. And I feel like that could continue here against Man United potentially. It'll be a lot harder though than their previous games. As for Man United, they've been arguably one of the best teams since the restart. Martial scoring his first career hat-trick against Sheffield United the other day, and I feel like that could continue here if he plays to his best and Rashford plays better. However, this is arguably one of their toughest games of the season so far, considering how good Brighton are. And that's why I've gone Brighton 1, Man United 1. Bit of a shot there. Next up, we got Arsenal versus Norwich. And I see no shocks happening here. Both these teams are playing the FA Cup, so I can see them being quite lethargic and tired. But surely in terms of quality, you have to back Arsenal to get all 3 points here, and convincingly as well. They did drop players against Southampton and still managed to win pretty well. I feel like they might do the same here against a very poor bottom of the table Norwich side. Norwich lost 1-0 at home to Everton. They're playing against Man United in the FA Cup, and I feel like they'll probably lose that game convincingly. But I do think they'll probably put a lot of effort into that, and I feel like it could kill two birds with one stone, unfortunately. It could lead them to losing this game quite convincingly as well. That's why I've gone for Arsenal 2, Norwich 0. As for the next game, it's Bournemouth versus Newcastle. There's no way about it. This is a must-win for Bournemouth if they want to survive in the Premier League. Most of their competitors maybe still in cup competitions or have difficult games, and I feel like they're against the Newcastle side who may get run ragged against Man City. And I feel like if they have an opportunity to win a game, it's now. They have to take this if they want to survive in the Premier League. If not, they really have a chance of going down. As for Newcastle, as I said, I feel like they might be run ragged against Man City. They weren't very convincing against Aston Villa either, despite getting a 1-1 draw. They were 1-0 up, but either way they weren't very good. And I think they will try and go for the FA Cup, considering they're pretty much safe in the Premier League anyway. They've helped out one relegation rival, where they help out this one. Yes, they will, according to me. Bournemouth 2, Newcastle 1. Right, next up is Everton versus Leicester. A pretty big game this weekend. Not this weekend, sorry. Right, anyway, Everton, they weren't fantastic against Norwich. Norwich did have chances against them. However, I feel like they should be able to get maybe a result in this game, considering that this is by quite a long way not the best Leicester side, not their best form. They could get something here if they play their cards right. As for Leicester, they need to get this man scoring again. Jamie Vardy, he is. He's still the top goal scorer in the Premier League. However, he's been on a massive goal drought. And I feel like if they get him firing again, they might start getting the results again. But that has not been the case so far. And they're in real trouble in terms of their Champions League places, under threat. And this game will not help that. Everton 1, Leicester 1. Right, next up we have West Ham versus Chelsea. West Ham were quite unlucky against Spurs. They weren't great, and they were in a bit of bother come the end of the game. But they did hold their own against Spurs, but they might have a bit of a harder task against Chelsea this week. Chelsea, on the other hand, had a fantastic result against Man City, beating them 2-1. Both these men scoring, Pulisic and Willian. I feel like if they play anywhere near that level, this would be a walk in the park, near the Olympic Park, in the Olympic Stadium. And I feel like they really could get something here. They probably should if they're going to get top 4, maybe even top 3 if Leicester slip up. That's why I've gone West Ham 0, Chelsea 2. Right, next up is Sheffield United versus Spurs. Sheffield United have not had a good restart in the Premier League. They've drawn their opening game away at Aston Villa. They were quite unlucky to draw that. They should have won the game. However, the 2 following games, they fell apart. Back-to-back 3-0 defeats. Will there be another one here? I'm going to say no, because all those games were away from home. This is finally a home game. I feel like they could take their chance here. As for Spurs, yes, they beat West Ham. However, I still don't find them that convincing yet. Kane did score, but all in all, he wasn't great. He was very poor against Man United. And I feel like this could be a surprise result on the cards. Spurs have it in them to get a poor result. I feel like at one here, Sheffield United 1, Spurs 1. Right, next up we have Man City versus Liverpool. Wowzers, what a game. Would have been even better had Chelsea lost to Man City and there was still a title race, well, kind of a race. Liverpool would have won the league anyway, let's face it, but it would have made things a bit more interesting. But no, that didn't happen. Man City weren't at their best against Chelsea. They are playing Newcastle in the FA Cup, which Pep said he has rested players for specifically, suggesting he is going more for the cup competitions as he is out of the league title running. Liverpool are Premier League champions. Yes, that's right. They've won their first Premier League title and their first league title in 30 years. They're now on 19 league titles, so they're only one off Man United. Massive congratulations to Liverpool, the earliest team to win the title, and what a team it is. In terms of this game though, I do think they could drop big players to try and get as many people in the squad as they can and medal. So as you can see, the likes of Mane and Salah maybe drop the likes of Origi, Minamino, maybe even Harvey Elliott, maybe even Curtis Jones, some young players so they can get a Premier League medal around their neck. I feel like that could affect the game. That's why I've gone for Man City 1, Liverpool 1. So this is how the table would look if my predictions were to end up this way. West Ham would be in the relegation zone with Bournemouth climbing out. Southampton would move up to 13th. There's not too much movement. Sheffield United would drop to 9th, which isn't great. Arsenal up to 8th. After their bad start, they'll probably take that. Wolves would move up to 5th. Leicester dropping to 4th. Chelsea rising up to 3rd. And the top two staying the same, with Man City in 2nd and the champions Liverpool top of the tree, as they will be till the end of the season. Right, here are my FA Cup quarterfinal predictions. This segment will be slightly shorter, considering my videos can't be over 15 minutes. Right, I've gone from Norwich 1, Man United 4, as I think Man United will go for the FA Cup a lot. Same goes for Arsenal with their 2-0 win over Sheffield United. Leicester will pull off a shock against Chelsea and win 2-1. And Newcastle lose 3-1 to Man City. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll try and get that Burnley video out for you soon. Peace.